Hi there. I'm a veterinarian and I own a private practice. I grossed 1.6 million last year, and I've got 7 full-time and 2 part-time employees. And
Awesome.
my questions are regarding planning my practice for the legacy phase. I've got specific questions about that.
Okay.
So I'm 60 and I don't have any plans to retire anytime soon. I really like what I do and I'm healthy and my business is going well. I am the only practitioner here, and I'm not sure how to go into the legacy phase. I've listened to your podcast a lot, and I don't want to be the one that falls over backwards into the grave and throws my keys and hopes somebody catches it. But I'm not sure how to plan when I'm not planning my retirement. I have 2 sons, 22 and 24 years old. Neither are in this profession. I do plan to leave the business to them, which that could mean either they could choose to continue to own it and hire a veterinarian, or they could choose to sell it. But I don't want to just leave it kind of randomly, do what you want to when I'm dead.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm gonna continue to practice and I don't have immediate plans to retire, maybe I could go 10 or 15 more years, I think. But I realize I could die at any point. If I die sooner than what I think, and I'm just not sure how to leave it for them so that it's something that they could manage.
Okay. I'm not aware. We work with a lot of veterinarians across the country, and I'm not aware of absentee owners that the veterinarian and the staff all work for them. That's an unusual model, unless it's a corporate thing of some kind. But individual standalone stores where your 2 sons own it and they hire a vet and the vet runs the business for them that they own, that would be a pretty unusual happening, wouldn't it?
Well, until last year, that was not even an option. You had to be a veterinarian in order to own the practice, but that has changed, and so now non-veterinarians are able to own the business.
From a legal standpoint, but from a practical standpoint, there's not a lot of times that they do this. I mean, you'd be much better off to bring in a vet in the next few years that you train up that buys it from you as you gradually as you approach retirement. It doesn't have to be in one fell swoop, but you can say, okay, I'm going to bring someone in because in 10 years or 15 years, you will be the owner of it. And we'll work that out over time, how we're going to do that, and put somebody in the, have some bench depth, so to speak. That'd be one way to do it. And then, the whatever you get for it would just be money-wise would be in your estate for your sons. Because I don't hear them itching to run this thing. It's just an asset that you have built because of your profession, and it's not like their dream in any way. They're probably going to sell it, right?
I would think so.
Yeah. So sell it for them before you die.
Well, and if I don't know when I'm going to die, then I want to continue.
You're not going to be working when you're 92.
Right.
Okay. So somewhere between now and then, we've got a gradual process, and we back out from there and go, okay. And you can set a timeline that's based on, and right now you can say, I don't know, it's going to be between 10 and 20 years. And as we approach the 10-year mark, I'll be able to nail it down a lot closer for your bench depth person, the person that's coming in to buy it. Because I got to tell you, if you come out of vet school right now and you got vet school loans, and you don't need to be buying a vet practice for another $1 million, right? So it might be good for a young vet to come in, get their loans paid off while they're working there. Y'all expand the size of the practice slightly, and then let the profits from some of the profits from the practice and let some of their income be used to buy you out. I think you could structure something like that over time, and it doesn't have to be you don't have to today go at 72 I'm quitting. You don't have to nail it down that precise, but you do need to start to develop a strategy that you can ease into.
Okay.
So when we started working on ours, I was 48, and my son was your son's age. They were in he's in his early 20s, and 16 years ago. And so we said, if and when he shows competency and interest, we'll start moving him into the president's role at Ramsey. And we didn't know when that was going to be exactly, but we knew it would be out there a while, 10, 15 years. And it turned out it was about 14 years, because he's now been in that seat for about 3.5 years, and that was 16 years ago. So, but we didn't know that date when we started. We stage gated the decision based on competency, not based on a calendar. You see what I'm saying? And you could do the same thing with someone coming up behind you, that you also have a plan for them to buy you out at some point. And, they can go get a bank loan, or you can owner finance the buyout, or and they can give you all the profits for a certain number of years until you get your money out, which is a great way for you to do it. But you go, okay, for today, we're going to move towards that. And as you get competent, and as I get less interested in working every single day and want to do some traveling, or I want to do some whatever, then you'll be there. Because I'm down to working 4 days a week. I don't work Fridays anymore. And when Daniel moved into that role, we were 50-50, and now we're about 80-20 on the operations. So we're gradually moving it out. But there's not a set time when that other 20%, we haven't said, okay, on this date, I'm going to quit being the CEO and I'm only going to be a personality, which is my retirement plan, okay? But we don't have a set date. It's just kind of how we feel about it. And so we'll get there sometime in the next 10 years, and we're both fine with that. And if there's any moment we're not both fine with that, we talk about it. So all that keeps you, if you've got a little bit of a floating thing like that, Susan, it keeps you from feeling trapped by the plan that you made, which is what you're trying to avoid, I think I heard.
Yes, I really would like to continue to practice. And I do have some concern about bringing in another veterinarian and just the ability for the practice to afford that. That's why I've been a solo practitioner.
Yeah.
I do have one contract veterinarian who comes in usually 1 day a week, maybe 2 days a week occasionally, but it's just on an as needed to give me some time to do just management things. Mm-hmm. But to have someone come in who's another 40-hour or 50-hour veterinarian,
you'd have to expand your business, considerably.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't know if you got a market to do that. That's something I can't decide. The other option, and I'm not as big a fan of this, just because it's kind of rubs me the wrong way as an entrepreneur, but there's a lot of vet practices and dental practices that are selling out to corporate now.
Which I think I would stop working before I did that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
I'm not a fan.
Well, I'm just saying that can be your exit. It doesn't have to be today, but 10 years from now, when you're 70, it could be your exit. And you turn the asset into money, because if you do it while you're alive and still standing in the practice, you're going to get a lot more for it than the two boys are going to get for it with no vet present.
That's true. That's true.
So I want you to maximize the asset either by putting somebody on the bench at some point in the next decade, or considering the grotesque idea of selling out. But I've got some friends that ran a large vet operation here for years, and I talked to them the other day, and they got serious bank and They worked two more years after doing that for the corporate guys, but they got a huge check, and that was their exit strategy, and they're probably approaching 70 now, right now, and But anyway, that's I've seen that happen, and it's your asset. You get to do with it what you want to do with it, and I don't think it's immoral to do that. It's just I like the idea of keeping things locally owned and all that kind of junk when I can. But so my first choice probably would be bench depth conversion thing. And my last choice would be some kind of corporate sale or selling to just the other local guy or gal that's there in the area and let them double the size of their practice as your exit strategy when you do finally reach the point, not at death, but at just, I do want to slow down. I only want to work 2 days a week, and I'm going to sell this thing out and work for the other guy for 2 days a week. That kind of thing. I don't know. You got to decide all that, but you do need to start thinking about a plan. And honestly, turning it over to them is probably at death only is the least you're going to get for it. That's the least you're going to get for it. So I'm probably going to try to do something other than that. But your deal. You can do whatever you want. None of those are bad answers. It's just talking it through with you. So there we go.